Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about whether or not grading is worth doing right now in this massive bull market that we are experiencing right now for Pokemon. So when it comes to Pokemon and Pokemon grading, a lot of people don't take into consideration the amount of people that are heading into the hobby right now, the massive influx of people that are sending in massive bulk orders because all of a sudden everybody wants to become a vendor. Everybody wants to make their own, Pokemon business and all that. And, typically it's about 45 days for PSA. Let's just take PSA for example. Typically it takes about 45 days for a bulk order of PSA, 45 business days for it to come back, fully graded and everything. A lot of people don't take that into consideration. It's the time and the price volatility. The price volatility is one of the harshest things to have to deal with right now, especially because the singles market kind of works like crypto. It just is super volatile. The stability isn't guaranteed, and it's just weird because 1 second one single is worth like $2, the next second it's worth like 70. It's just a very unreliable market right now. Unless it's a very popular card, unless it's a massive hit card from a very well-known Pokemon, like let's say Pikachu or a Charizard or Eevee, a lot of those very price-safe cards, there's a possible chance that a lot of these cards are just going to be super volatile. A lot of them are going to drop most of the time. And it's just hard to see a lot of these cards not get that massive price multiplier we expect whenever we get a PSA 10 or something. So, we're starting to see that multiplier kind of dwindle off now too because, unless a card is very hard to grade, like let's say the Magikarp from Paldea Evolved, that one out of 9 is pretty much priced almost a little bit above market for a raw card. It's priced a little bit higher than market for PSA 9 Magikarp. But if you see it, the PSA 10, because of the low population, the price multiplier on that thing is it's times 5, almost times 6. Actually, no, I think it's like times 7, the raw price. So if you were to, this $250 Magikarp can be worth $1,500 if you're able to get it at a PSA 10. Of course, once you get that card back and all that, I'm not saying that's going to be, priced the same, but what I'm trying to say is that a lot of these price stable cards, a lot of the times, if they're not Charizards, Umbreons, any sort of evolution, any sort of Pikachu, any sort of Charizard, any sort of these iconic, Pokemons that we oh so love, we tend to see a massive price drop unless they are low population and they're an iconic Pokemon. So Magikarp, it's a very silly Pokemon, but the art for that card is actually really nice. We're going to be seeing that. So whenever you're shipping, cards off to PSA, just remember the price volatility. 1 second this card's worth like $2, the next second's worth 70. The 1 second this PSA 10 card is worth like, let's say $40, $50. The next thing you know, it's worth like 300, 400. So the market is just very strange right now when it comes to singles. The singles market, like I said, it's just very unreliable. We don't know what's going to pop off and what's not going to pop off. Obviously, the popularity of the card does influence the price. If a lot of people start buying it and the availability for the card just becomes, lesser and lesser, it can influence the price. There is no set numbers for, any of these raw cards. And even if you get them at a PSA 10, the multiplier isn't, is just very strange too because, obviously with like vintage cards, like let's say the staple, first edition Shadowless Charizard, right? From base set. If that gets a PSA 10, it's worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not tens of thousands of dollars. I'm pretty sure it's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. But we see with these very just low population cards from iconic Pokemons, they get this massive price multiplier. It's actually really really cool. you know? And, you know, some cards that we don't even expect, like let's say the Gengar from Phantom Forces, if you PSA 8 or PSA 9, you're still making double the money from a raw card. Just because that set is known to be just really, you know, cut really weirdly. So if you guys do your research, you can actually find cards that are at a PSA 8 or PSA 9. They're worth quite a bit. Honestly, it's worth researching those cards. So it's worth, if you're a collector, it doesn't really matter when you get them back. You just want them to be protected from the elements, from the external factors. That's fair. But if you're someone that's trying to make this into a business, or trying to become a vendor, or trying to, you know, have some sort of supplies, or just starting off and you're trying to make that, I don't like saying this, but make that easy money, and, you know, you're sending in bulk orders and all that, it's just very strange. So don't be surprised if, you know, in the time it takes for PSA to grade these cards and to do all the research and all that crap, don't be surprised if your card drops in price, but also don't be surprised if your card goes up in price, especially with this massive bull market right now. Right now is the time to sell, and right now is just a great time to sell all your cards. Obviously, buying cards, be careful with what you buy. Do your research on what you are buying. If you're buying at full, you know, full value market price, just be careful. You know, especially with PSA and all that. A lot of people, when the market gets flooded with new people in the hobby, people try to, you know, find ways around the system, and they actually forge and fake their cards. So be careful with fake cards, because sometimes some of those fake cards have real PSA IDs and PSA cert numbers. So just know your crap. Unless the person is really reliable, unless the person has done many transactions with you, have never done you wrong, and has never done anybody else wrong, it is always good to know what you are getting, especially when it comes to those specialty cards, like the Van Gogh Pikachus, or any of the Van Gogh art collections. My camera freaking overheated, so that's great. I don't know where the hell I was. Point being, just to summarize, I guess, because this thing's pretty much breaking on me and all that, so so before my camera explodes, just to finish off this video, yes, it is still worth grading, you know, for whatever reason, if it's for collecting or if it's for selling and all that. But just remember, like I said in prior videos, patience is the game when it comes to Pokemon or any sort of TCG, really. It's all about patience. It's all about just being able to just be patient. When it comes to buying sealed, when it comes to grading, when it comes to singles, it's all about patience. Don't be desperate. Don't go to those, like, whatever the hell those things are, like AES or like XPG or whatever the hell those grading companies are. They're just really just like operating out of their garage. You want to go with someone that's reputable. That way your card maintains value, because the value is within the reputation of the company. That PSA 10 is what's worth something. That CGC Pristine 10 is what's it's worth something. Like, you know, if it's for like higher end stuff like the ponchos and all that. But even then, CGC, they just recently had a scandal that just made them a little bit more unreliable and untrustworthy when it comes to like authenticating older stuff and authenticating signatures. It's weird. It's very weird. But same thing with Beckett, the Beckett 10. Even if it's not non-black label, it's still worth quite a bit. And we're starting to see that even Tag is being a competitor in this massive grading space. So just remember, be patient. And just remember, singles are volatile. They're very volatile. Unlike sealed product, they're very volatile. And just be aware, be wary, because prices jump from day to day now, and it's strange. If it's not week to week, it's day to day that a lot of singles are just shifting in price, and it's weird. So anyways, I'm going to leave you off with that piece of information. Hopefully you guys all have a wonderful day, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. And if there's anything you want me to talk about, please let me know. in the comment section. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.